I'm going to mess with a website. We've got Burp Suite installed. The next thing is, do we have FoxyProxy installed? What I like to do with FoxyProxy, under Options, I'm going to add a proxy. So I turned on FoxyProxy, then I actually chose Options. Now under Options, I want to add a proxy. I'm going to set up an HTTP proxy. I'm going to say burp, and I'm going to have it go to 127.0.0.1 port 8080. That usually kind of gets some people to be like, okay, well, why are you proxying all traffic to port 8080? The reason that you're adding a proxy is simple. When I'm using my web browser, you're configuring your web browser to go to a proxy. So a lot of people normally use a proxy as kind of like a gateway, like you point your browser at the proxy and the proxy becomes the mechanism you use to get out to the internet. Here, what we're doing is the exact same configuration setting. We create a proxy and now we run the proxy on our local machine. It allows us to forward all traffic from our browser to this proxy application. In this case, the proxy application we're going to use is called Burp Suite.
Oh, yeah.
The reason that you use Burp Suite is you're going to have requests that are difficult to mess with, right? So if I'm messing with something in the address bar, what I'm messing with is called a GET request. So it's really easy to attack a GET request because you literally put all of your attacks right here in the address bar. What's difficult is when I have to mess with a POST request. When you're messing with a POST request, all you have is just a page name, but you don't have anything after the page name. So since there's nothing there after the page name, how do I mess with it? So a proxy allows you to capture host requests. So GET requests are easy because they're right in the address bar. I can change them right in the address bar. Post requests are a little bit tricky because the data that's sent here as parameters is a little difficult to mess with without an HTTP intercepting proxy tool. Burp Suite is an example of one. So it gives us a chance to mess with these. We've already set up FoxyProxy. Over here, I'm going to tell FoxyProxy to now use Burp Suite. It is sending all my traffic through Burp. So now your proxy solution is forwarding your traffic to localhost port 8080. Burp runs on localhost port 8080. And I'm just going to do a temporary project. So no big deal on a temporary project. I'll just say next, and then I'll choose the option start Burp with all the default settings. So I'm starting up Burp Suite. Okay, so over here, Burp Suite's got an event log. It tells me, hey, looks like you've started Burp Suite. When it finds security issues, it'll classify them over here in the top right. So every time it finds something like, hey, I found cross-site scripting or I found SQL injection, it'll list all that stuff over here. Okay? Now he's telling you, hey guys, you only get that if you buy.
Suck it up and pay up, fellas. We made a deal.
Fucking kidding me? You come in here, you fucking seriously looking to show the fair value. You said you would marvel if credit loss event there would be a
right? So you got to have a little bit of money. Now that we've got Burp Suite going, I'm not going to stay on the dashboard. You see these tabs on the far left? I'm going to click Target. Okay? So I click Target, and it should be empty. So I've got nothing in Target. Now, in Firefox, I want you to browse to this IP address. Okay? So I go to that IP address, and now it just hangs. Okay? So you'll see that sucker's moving left to right. It's just hanging. Now in Burp Suite, your proxy tab should have changed color. Our target tab is still empty, but our proxy tab should have changed colors. If we go to our proxy tab, we'll see that intercept is turned on. And he sees the GET request going to this page. And there's the user agent and all the things with regard to this traffic. I can click the parameters and I can see them. I can click the headers, right? And if you click the headers, you can change them. User Joe, right? I don't want to accept, I want to reject, right? You can mess with it all in hex, but who wants to look at hex, okay? Are you guys seeing that now that I've clicked this part, right? The request is sitting trapped because intercept is on. So you can now mess with everything you want in here, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn intercept off. All I did was click on that button and now intercept is off, okay? So now the traffic went, okay? So if I go over here and I click target, you guys see how traffic is showing up over here in target? So now traffic is over here, and then you'll notice they even pulled down some content. So that's what we wanted to see, right? If it were a web app pen test, the first thing that we would do is we would right click and we would choose the option add to scope. Add to scope. Okay, so now we go ahead and say yes, we add to scope. And the reason is because we're going to be browsing, seeing a lot of different traffic. And when you go to a website, it tends to include content from lots of other places. Okay, so since we're including content from all these other places, we don't want to be tracking that in Burp. We only want to track the website that we're testing. So if we click target and we click scope, click target first, then click scope, you should now see that this address has been added to our scope. Now what we want to do is on our proxy tab, we want to click options. So let's go proxy, options. When you try to visit any SSL protected site, it's going to fail. So I'm just going to go to Google right quick. And now look what it says. Now the reason is because he says, hey, that's because this certificate is issued by PortSwigger. PortSwigger is the company that makes Burp Suite. So since PortSwigger is the company that makes Burp Suite, because we're sending our traffic to a proxy, we are not directly connecting to Google. The proxy is connecting to Google on our behalf. So a man-in-the-middle attack is actually being executed right now. These are the types of warnings that you should be seeing when someone is hijacking your secure connection. So we need to make Burp Suite generate a certificate. So generate certificate. All right, let's export a certificate. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to export a certificate. Let's do it in DER format. And now it says choose a file. Okay. So I've got a folder called Burp Scripts because I do a Burp scripting class. So I've got a couple of certificates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder in here. So now that we've got that certificate exported, so right there's Burp Cert 3. So I'm just going to show you guys what that sucker looks like in Notepad++. See, it's all gibberish. So now in Firefox, I want to go import that certificate. He's saying, hey, this is what it actually looks like, and this is not trusted, right? So we're going to go to Firefox, options. And on Firefox, I can just search for a certificate. Okay, so I'm going to say view certificates. and then right in here, import. Now I should be able to go back here and refresh, and now I've got Google. So now Burp Suite is making an encrypted connection to Google on my behalf. This will allow me to inspect HTTPS traffic in here now.